Today in the crypto space, we see the market taking a bit of a dump, Bitcoin down approximately 4.5%, Ethereum also coming down to critical levels, down approximately 6%, and the rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, are slowly dripping down, but not as bad as those two heavyweights. In fact, we're seeing a lot of the altcoins hold horizontal support despite the negativity. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin that is holding up fairly nicely. Despite the red, it is holding up, and that project is called TARAXA. So you know what, let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it does not matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials, the links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with this market. Generally speaking, guys, we're seeing a bit of a dip here, actually more than expected. You can see that the overall market cap is definitely falling. We fell below the $2 trillion level, while volume continues to move up. Now, there was a moment in time in the last few days where we saw that we were getting an increase in volume every time we were getting a spike in the market cap going up, which is a good sign, was a very good sign. But ultimately, when we do see a bunch of strength like we've seen today, you know, the volume does pick up. Market participation says, you know what, I'm in. What can I say? We're breaking below critical levels. The fear kicks in, the FUD kicks in. And then all of a sudden, you know, the volume increases. So as we did see the market cap fall, you know, the fear kicked in and the trading volume started to increase, which meant that the market was selling off. The pressure was there. All right, guys, let's move on. Let's see what's going on with the general market real quick. Bitcoin falling clearly. Ethereum falling clearly. Tether. What's going on with Tether, guys? There's something that happened. We do see a bit of a depeg. It does happen ever so often, but I would love to know exactly what happened and caused this slight depeg in Tether. That definitely is correlated, obviously, as can be seen, correlated with the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the market dump. Okay, so this is quite interesting to me. Now, in addition to that, we see a lot of other altcoins falling. BNB, Solana going sideways is pretty good. Remember that 3% is nothing. It's not a big deal, guys. Even though Bitcoin is falling, in fact, we can see some of these altcoins are not even falling as hard as Bitcoin. This is interesting. It seems like the two projects, the two cryptos that have ETFs are actually taking a bigger hit than the rest of the market, generally speaking, and even considering or factoring in their market caps, right? Look at this. Yeah, we can look at, for example, Dogecoin. Yes, it did come down a little bit more, but the reality is, comparison to its market cap, really, it did great. It did amazing, considering that these guys are heavyweights this way and they have ETFs and all of that. So my concern is, what makes these unique? What is a common factor? An ETF is a common factor. And again, I'm really curious about this Tether thing, the USDT destabilizing for a little while here. It kind of concerns me. So we just got to keep an eye on that. What else do we have? We see a lot of dips here. Everything that is ETH related is also falling, but things that are not, look at AVAX, 2%, no big deal, right? Brushing it off like it's nothing. So we really have to understand that right now what is taking the hit is the Ethereum and Bitcoin narrative. And again, the only common factor that I can come up with is the fact that it is ETF related, right? Chainlink is also pegged to Ethereum quite a bit, but look up DOT. I know DOT has been so bearish in the last little while, but it didn't fall. It's kind of going sideways. It's down only 1.7% for the day, so no big deal there. Litecoin going sideways very nicely, still within range, still within structure, not making lower lows, doing its thing. That's totally fine. Uniswap is rolling over a little bit, but still looking pretty good. Near Protocol, double bottom, Yeah, it's down a little bit more than expected, but still fine. Not making a lower low just yet. Guys, there is red and it's clear. And I understand the fear and the uncertainty and the doubt, but the altcoin market, as you can see, relative to the market caps of those two large caps, Bitcoin and Ethereum, are actually doing okay. And today on the Discord, we had a bit of a conversation. We had a conversation about this, and I'm questioning, what kind of phase we are in into this market. Of course, join me live tonight at 8 p.m. EST. We'll definitely talk about all the fundamentals, the potential indicators that we have for reversal, maybe continuation. Feel free to join, guys. What else do we have? We have dips. We have a lot of red, of course, reds here and there. Sui's doing great. It's up 4.7%. So this is something that we really have to understand. Is it a very, very isolated event, isolated to Bitcoin and Ethereum, or is it a market-wide event? I don't really see it to be a market-wide event. Even optimism, Ethereum based, not doing much, still sideways, holding up. Injective, okay, fine, it's coming down. And you get what I mean? So we really have to look at Maker falling down, breaking down, making lower lows, and so on. So I really do feel that anything that right now is pegged to Ethereum is looking worse and, not as good. So this is something that we have to consider. All right, guys, let's jump right into some charts. I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's do it. What's going on with Bitcoin? Bitcoin fell, guys. Bitcoin fell. We anticipated, we're prepared, we are very neutral and anticipating, negativity. 52,000 is the target for me. And then the next one is 44. The question is, at what point do we instill enough fear in the market that also altcoins fall? And at what point maybe do we get enough bears into this price action that we trap them up and maybe the bulls have a motivation to actually cause a reversal? Guys, let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. These moments are when things get a little bit interesting. The reason being is because they're emotional. People start taking risks, people feel overconfident. And the reality is, coupled with the fact that we're becoming impatient, makes us take risk a lot easier. Let's put it that way. We're bored. The thing is that this is the time to stay focused, because I really don't think that these are opportunities to just look the other way on. We should definitely take advantage, but at the same time we got to tread carefully, because we don't want to run out of capital here. And this is why I'm saying that in the next 3-4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks, up until the first week of October, I am definitely going to be DCAing weekly, no matter the price. It doesn't matter to me. And that's a DCA strategy that you can also employ, right? Looking for a systematic way without thinking about it, just to deploy, because you remove emotion that way. And I feel like this is a viable strategy, given right now we are at peak emotions. I would say maybe a little bit more could actually be coming in if we hit the 52, and imagine that 44. Imagine falling through that volume gap and coming down to 44. So I'm going to be strategically doing that, because if we do come down to this level, I want to be deploying. And in addition to that, it is absolutely viable to reserve a portion of capital, stables, to be buying in when we get major dips. Right? Today wasn't a major dip on the altcoin market. The reality is it wasn't. It's only a few percent, maximum 5, depending on the project you're looking at. Whereas you're looking at Bitcoin fall this way, visually, it looks horrible. I get it. The market cap's below 2 trillion. But guess what? Guys, we came here before. We've came here before on this wick. So you guys know I don't like diagonals. And you can see it's clearly a diagonal support line that we're trying to, use as some confluence here. But I do see the horizontal here. I see this node of price action at 52 that we are hoping, I'm going to use the word hope very, very strategically here. We're hoping that we get some support. So what we have to understand is hope is just trying to, basically trying to grab straws. You're trying to grasp for straws. You're trying to figure out what we're going to be doing here. You're trying to figure out how are you going to navigate this market. And the reality is, don't be hopeful, but just be prepared. It's better to be prepared. So what I'm going to be doing here in the next little while is very strategic, of course, emotionally disconnected from the market and strategically deploying capital. But what do we do about this price action? Again, 52 is not bad. 44 is not bad. But if we start breaking down, it's still not a good look. But we can't negate the fact that ultimately this is a retracement after a massive impulsive move. It is a broadening wedge descending. It is a bullish structure that should break out bullish eventually. We do get lots of liquidity hunts and stop hunts and final capitulations before the major runs in the markets. So this could be it. So we got to be very patient here, and I feel like it's best to be neutral than to be one-sided, whether it be bearish or bullish. It's better to be neutral at this current moment. All right, guys, let's move on. Let's take a look at TARAXA. Guys, I chose to talk about TARAXA very strategically as well today because it directly in line with my understanding of what's happening with alts. You can look at TARAXA as one of those projects that have done very well very earlier on in this market, in this bull run, starting from last summer. Guys, we've been covering TARAXA for over a year now, and we've done really well with entries, and we also done very well with anticipating this retracement. As you can see, we've come down a long way. The thing is that we are looking for liquidity hunt. We're looking for the max pain level, and you can see that Teraa is definitely coming down, falling through the volume gap nice and slowly. Could we actually reach the target, which is about multiple zeros? Let's say 0.002645. That would be a first level target, and then down to about 0.0016 is the next level based on volume. That's all it is, volume, and this level of accumulation where we got our first run up and all of that. And it just so happened that, you know, taking profits and buying the dip is actually a great strategy, as you can see. But what do we do right now? And what I'm noticing is that today was a good indication that the sellers might be done. There might be done. Look what happened in the market today. And we have TARAXA and many other projects. Ondo's another one. Ondo barely flinched. You can see that TARAXA barely flinched as well. Didn't do anything. What does that tell you? There's no more sellers. Everybody else that is in this market, in TARAXA, holding TARAXA, are not going to sell. They're long-term holders. They believe, they have conviction, they understand that, you know, TARAXA has value and utility, and they're willing to weather the storm. Now, at what point do these individuals change their mind? That's the question. Now, like I said earlier in the intro, at what point does Bitcoin come down further to even cause more fear, enough fear to cause these holders and these hodlers to actually sell? As of now, it's not enough. I think that even if we came down to about 52, I don't think this price will fall. But 44 might cause that to fall, and it might come down to the point that we hit the bottom of the volume gap. Now, again, if we, you know, just go back and look left, we're looking at these tops, we're looking at these tops, we're looking at, you know, volume, we're looking at liquidation. The majority of the liquidity in this market is right down here at this level. So do we have some room to come down? Definitely. But do we have any structure here to suggest that we're getting a reversal? We don't also. So we have to be very careful because we're still making lower lows and lower highs. We did come down to a good level where we got a nice ABC retracement after a few impulses to the upside, which are great. And then all of a sudden we're asking ourselves, is this going to be a pivot point structure after seeing that there's no more sellers and basically the bears are exhausted? Are we going to finally get a reversal here? I think it's very early to suggest that, but it's a good sign when you see an altcoin basically not care about what Bitcoin or even Ethereum are doing. It's a great sign because it looks like they're depegged from that negativity. It's a sign of independence. It's a sign that TARAXA is going to do its own thing, despite, or at least go sideways until the market reverses, neutralizing negativity. And for me, that's a sign of bullishness. When you can neutralize the negativity of the market, even the external market, that is a sign of strength. And right now, projects like Teraa, there are many others that are going sideways at this current level, like even Mint Layer. I can see it's only down 1.8%, no big deal. Like, the reality is it's not a big deal. We've seen worse, guys. We've endured so much more than just 2%. So I'm not trying to be one-sided here. I'm definitely trying to be neutral, but I'm also trying to present the fact. The fact is today, projects like Teraa did not come down. Okay, so what does that tell you? Is that something that we should be aware of? Definitely. Now you can see that even momentum didn't even shift. Nothing. Pretty sideways. We're doing okay here. Expansion's very weak. Look at this expansion. Look at that expansion. Look at this one. Each expansion so far to the downside is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And today being a big event, a big dip in Bitcoin, structurally speaking, falling below previous lows, the market barely did anything. We also see that the trend getting multiple bullish divergence to the upside. I can see that the trend is pretty tight. We're not getting massive expansions out of the trend oscillator, which means that we could be going a little bit sideways here for a little bit longer. You notice that every time we come here and get bullish divergence, we do get a bit of follow through, but every time that happens, we're coming down for a bigger bearish response. And it's very clear. Look at the bearish waves that we got before. We went up really, really high from bullishness, and then all of a sudden we definitely start to see, you know, these bulls take profit, stay in the bearish control zone at the bottom. You can see the EMA is definitely down here. And this is the thing, we want to see some conviction where we start to see the EMAs above the zero mark and start getting to the top half of the oscillator where we get the major expansion. We haven't got there yet. Eventually it should happen, and eventually we should get some signs of good divergence to the upside and some follow through. I really want to focus on this for a second because I feel like, not this right here, this oscillator right here, sorry guys, right into this level, because there's divergence on the expansions. It's just a momentum, guys. It hasn't gotten overbought for a good while. If we keep an eye on the price action, let me kind of center this up, and we start looking at the purple line, and I'm just going to get my pen mark and just highlight the importance of this high. Obviously, nice run to the upside, beautiful, nice empty gap right into here. You can see that empty space. Now we come down, and guys, we never really got overbought. We kind of are hanging around here in the chop zone, then finally got oversold. Okay, fine, that's an important scenario. Now we're going up and coming back down, oversold again. So really, you can see this whole space is pretty empty. Everything up into you know, all into this level is pretty empty, which means that, you know, are we going to slowly start rolling eventually to the upside? And I say that is very possible, because every time you get these gaps, these empty spaces, especially for a prolonged, you know, time, they eventually suggest that we're going to make a change in direction, right? We can't stay down here forever. And as we mature at these zones and as we get down to these levels, I expect eventually some sort of change of direction. And that's why we heavily focus on change of character on the price action, because a change of character suggests that we're no longer making lower lows. In fact, we're going to go from lower lows and lower highs to higher highs and higher lows. So as of now, a floor price would be ideal. Let the price go sideways a little longer. Let us get a bit comfortable into here. Maybe we can deploy a bit of capital, put a stop loss in. Let's go for a higher high. Let's break above this high. And if it's not that high, that's fine. Let's make a high. Let's at least jump up, come back down, break above that high, and start making pivot point patterns, inverse head and shoulders, cup and handles, Adam and Eve patterns. And until we get that, guys, yes, you could remain hopeful. You can be looking for, trying to make setups and all of that. But the reality is, wait for the confirmations, because you don't want to front run a bottom. You want to DCA slowly, find 10%, 15%, even 20%, but slow and steadily deploy at levels once you build those confirmations. As of now, TARAXA is looking good based on the indications of its volume. But the reality is, there's no change of character here. So we want some proof before we start getting into heavy position. Teraa should be a good one. Good layer one. It has already proved itself very strong into the market. It's got a great marketing team. That the tech is decent. The community is great. There's a lot of good stuff about it, guys. Feel free to check out my deep dives. I do cover a lot of projects in detail about fundamentals and so on. Stay tuned. I do have one coming out this Sunday. So feel free to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss out on that update. All right, guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is, it's absolutely free. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one. See you tonight. And don't forget, buy the dip.